Good evening and welcome to the evening news. In the headlines, another Maikoni rice mill branch sold, UG urged to seek new partnerships, and Ramotar Maduro to hold closed-door talks. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us for your Wednesday, August 28, 2013 edition of the evening news. Now for the details. New management has taken over another branch of the Maikoni Rice Mill Limited. The facility located at Branch Road, Maikoni, Region 5, has been bought by popular Guyanese businessman Buddy Shivraj. Details from Liana Bradshaw.
The facility, now dubbed the Buddy's Rice Milling Complex, was bought in July this year. Speaking to the evening news via a telephone interview, partner and chief executive officer of the newly owned company, Arnold Gajraj, said the mill is currently under construction as they are in the process of upgrading and modernizing facilities there. As such, he noted that the mill has not yet begun operations, but is expected to start business within a week's time. He said they are targeting all rice farmers. Rice farmers are expected to begin harvesting their crops within a 1 to 2 week period. With this, Gajraj added that they will be setting their buying price for the upcoming crop within the next 2 to 3 days. The new CEO assured farmers that they are now in good hands. He said rice farmers can expect honesty and prompt payment of paddy with the new management of the company. Meanwhile, General Manager of the Guyana Rice Development Board, Jagnarine Singh, said the Buddy's Rice Milling Complex has already submitted its application for milling license and it is being processed. However, he said that while a milling license is needed before a company can commence operations, the GRDB would compromise so as to ensure farmers' paddy is sold. For the evening news, Liana Bradshaw.
The Demerara power system yesterday suffered total shutdown as a result of adverse weather conditions. The Guyana Power and Light Company, GPL, said today in a release to the media that the shutdown was experienced at about 14 hours 33 when one of the transmission lines linking Garden of Eden and Sophia tripped on a transient ground fault, affecting generating sets in operation and resulting in a total shutdown within the Demerara interconnected system. GPL said that it regrets any inconvenience caused to its customers, while adding that the machine were quickly brought back online and restoration of power began at approximately 14 hours 49. At 15 hours 39, full restoration was achieved when consumers on the East Coast were repowered. The transmission line was successfully returned to service at 17 hours 50. The University of Guyana today benefited from a donation of a quantity of Spanish books courtesy of the Mexican Embassy of Guyana. This donation seeks to boost the educational programs presently being offered at the university. It will aid in the teaching of Spanish in the context of creative arts. The books included topics such as politics, culture, traditions, and the identity of people. Meanwhile, Speaker of the National Assembly, Raphael Trotman, says the University of Guyana's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jacob Opodei, must seek new partnerships and allies with the aim of solving the plethora of problems facing the institution. Details in this report.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Raphael Trotman, during an interview with this newscast, said he believes University of Guyana Vice-Chancellor Professor Dr. Jacob Opodei has the capacity to overcome challenges being faced to run the tertiary institution. Professor Opodei has come in for high criticism from the University of Guyana Senior Staff Association due to his apparent failure to address key issues plaguing the educational institution. However, Trotman strongly believes the university can continue to create a legacy of producing outstanding professionals if all sectors can play a part in its development. Addressing students during a roundtable discussion on Tuesday at the Turkine campus, he said there must be a vision. Deplorable facilities, shortage of staff, underpaid lecturers, and lack of critical equipment are a few problems facing students at the cash-strapped university, but Professor Opodei said these problems are being addressed. Speaking with the evening news on Wednesday, the Vice-Chancellor pointed out that his administration has plans on refurbishing all the buildings within the faculties of science and technology. A curriculum review has also been placed high on its agenda. For the evening news, Liana Bradshaw.
And President of the University of Guyana Senior Staff Association, Dr. Patsy Francis, says that the institution is not in a state or position of preparedness for the recommencement of the classes and the start of the new academic year, but the administration says works in this respect will commence shortly. Details in this report.
President of the University of Guyana Senior Staff Association, UGSSA, Dr. Patsy Francis, says the state of affairs at UG presently is chaotic. During a telephone interview with this newscast, she said she is unclear why the university's administration would commence the 2013-2014 academic year on Monday, August 26, when many lecturers are still on leave. Additionally, she said many lecturers have not been appointed for full-time or part-time services, grades from the previous semester are still not out, and many new applicants are still not aware whether they have been accepted or not. She also said that several changes have not been effected to the infrastructure of the university, making specific mention to the bridge at the back of the campus. Meanwhile, UG's Vice-Chancellor Dr. Jacob Upadej stated that rehabilitation works on several buildings at UG are expected to begin during the ongoing semester. The Vice-Chancellor had disclosed that attempts are being made to acquire portable offices and classrooms which will be utilized while renovation works are ongoing. He said UG administration have already had talks with officials at the Cyril Potter College of Education to facilitate evening classes. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Barbados is the only Caribbean community CARICOM country to have made a request of Facebook for information regarding how certain nationals use the social networking website. Facebook has for the first time published data on how often governments around the world request data on its users, and according to the social network, Barbados made 3 requests about 3 individual users in the last 6 months. Facebook does not specify the nature or type request, but said it set a very high-level bar with each individual request in order to receive any information about any of our users. There has been no official comment from Bridgetown, but Facebook has outlined the conditions under which requests are accepted from governments. Award-winning filmmaker Mason Richards on Tuesday evening screened his short film titled The Seawall, which is expected to become a feature film. Sabatini Daniels reports.
U.S.-based Guyanese writer and director Mason Richards said the major challenge he experienced during the shooting of The Seawall was allocating funding and trying to please the audience. Speaking at the screening of the movie, he disclosed that the 9-minute short film cost $20,000.
We all know the arts, there's always never enough funding for arts in anything. And I've been fortunate enough to get some support in the U.S. and my goal in coming here is to, identify the people who are interested in supporting this film with resources, financial resources, businesses, because it will be publicized. It will be on a global scale because they're expecting it.
He noted that he is now working to make the movie a feature film that will showcase more of Guyana and the seawall.
In the feature, we plan to spend more time in the seawall. Malachi's going to be the seawall more and show the history of why the seawall is there, and get more into Marjorie's character about what was the seawall like back in the day, back in the 50s and the 40s when it was a beautiful place to go and things like that.
The Seawall is a narrative short film entirely shot in Georgetown and centers on Marjorie, a Guyanese woman who is preparing her 10-year-old grandson to move to America to live with his mother. Struggling with her own loneliness and abandonment, audiences watches as she sacrifices her happiness for her grandson's future. The cast consists of local non-professional actors. Richards received high praises from international film directors at CARIFest 11, where his film was reviewed. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro is expected to meet President Donald Ramotar in several closed-door sessions where they will discuss several issues related to sealing agreements in areas of mutual concerns. The visit is also expected to see the 2 South American nations agreeing on new bilateral agreements in the areas of energy, trade and development, cultural exchange, agriculture, among others. President Maduro's delegation will arrive on August 31 for the one-day state visit. Charles Goodluck, called Charlie, aged 64, of Betsy Ground, East Kanji, was today arraigned with the murder of Chandradat Dio Hussain, aged 39, of East Kanji, Berbice, who was killed on Friday last in Karduni Bragdam, Berbice River. Goodluck made his appearance at the Christiansburg Magistrates Court and was remanded to prison by His Worship Magistrate Clive Nurse and will make another court appearance on October 20. Hussein was found hanging at a logging camp at Carduni-Burbis River on Friday last, which left co-workers to believe that he had committed suicide. Nevertheless, their presumptions were wrong since the post-mortem performed by the pathologist Dr. Vivekanand Brijmohan on Monday last confirmed that Hussein was actually murdered. Following this revelation, it led to the arrest of the suspect, since it was believed that the two men had prior altercations. The file was sent to the Director of Public Prosecution for advice, who recommended that he be charged with murder. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. The management of Liat 1974 says that its plane LI 563 traveling from Dominica to Barbados last evening with 18 passengers on board developed a pressurization problem while en route. The Barbados Airport authorities, in keeping with their procedures, had their emergency equipment on alert in spite of the fact that the operating captain indicated that it was not an emergency situation and no assistance was required. The aircraft landed without any further incidents. There was no smoke in the cabin as suggested in the media. However, after landing, when the air conditioning system was activated in a normal manner, there was a vaporized mist from the air vents, which is customary. The crew reported that there were no reports of difficulty in breathing by the passengers. Following investigations and analysts by Liat's Maintenance and Engineering Department, the aircraft was returned to service. In the Sabatini Daniels report, we'll hear that President of the Georgetown Rotary Club, Harry Ram Parmasar, says the organization is aiming to recruit more persons. Here are details.
Speaking to this newscast, recently appointed Georgetown Rotary Club President Harry Ram Parmasar said one of the major challenges the club faces is competing with other social organizations in such a small environment as Guyana to obtain new members. Despite this, he noted that the organization has been able to grow its membership at an average of about 5% each year.
Our club is the largest club in Guyana and the oldest club. Our membership currently stands at 66. And our target for this year is to grow at least by 5 members more.
Parmasar said the organization is hoping to recruit younger persons, specifically students, at the University of Guyana, since he disclosed that less than 30% of persons from UG are in the various Rotary clubs across the country. He stated that the benefits of young people being a part of this acclaimed club are numerous, since there are many educational workshops and various seminars which it holds. The organization is aiming to establish another club on the West Coast, the president noted. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
The heavy winds on Tuesday afternoon caused several trees in a northeast La Penitence alleyway to uproot and fall on a house. The incident occurred sometime around 15 hours. However, no one was at home at a lot 421 Northeast house. Marlene Williams said her mother was informed about it by their neighbor. She noted no damages were done to the house. However, part of the back fence was damaged by the trees. Residents in the area are calling on the mayor and city council to clear the alleyway before more damages are done, since this had happened before. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned for sport, which is sponsored by Macquarie. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. In the headlines, Sasha Vickery makes winning start to US Open. Monty Lynch resigns from the Guyana Cricket Board, and England's Ashes players apologize for urinating on pitch. Here are details. Sasha Vickery, the United States of America player of Guyanese parentage, made a brilliant start to her US Open campaign on Tuesday, comprehensively beating Mariana Lucic Baroni of Croatia 6-4, 6-4. It was a remarkable start to the 18-year-old Vickery's Grand Slam career as she upstaged her more illustrious 31-year-old counterpart on court 7. Vickery, who gained a wildcard entry into the US Open, needed a mere 87 minutes to wrap up victory as she had 5 aces compared to Lucis Baroni's 2. In an invited comment, President of the Ghana Tennis Association, Ramesh Sibaran, said the entire local table tennis fraternity is extremely excited at this time. Vickery is slotted in the bottom half of the main draw, where she would be competing with the likes of the 13th ranked Anna Ivanovic, 11th seed and former US Open finalist Samantha Sutur of Australia, and Victoria Azarenka. After 8 weeks of intense training, the 37th Annual National Sports Commission Teach Them Young Cycling Camp will conclude on Saturday with the staging of an 11-race program sponsored by the National Sports Commission at the inner circuit of the National Park. More on this report. This year's camp attracted a record 65 participants, the most in its history, and according to national cycling coach and facilitator of the event, Hassan Mohammed, it was nothing less than a resounding success. The camp, which pedaled off on July 8, has been in existence since 1977 and is by far the oldest nursery of any sport discipline in Guyana and the Caribbean. Mohammed, who has been at the helm of the program since its inception, said the aim of having it every year is to encourage increased participation in the sport, prevent delinquency and produce champions. Sessions are being held from 9 to 11 hours 30 on weekdays, and the participants are being given a basic introduction to the sport both at the theoretical and practical level. During the last few weeks, the young riders were given a chance to exhibit what they would have learned so far by competing in several 11-race programs at the National Park Circuit. They will have another opportunity to do so on Saturday when action gets underway at 9 hours. The first champion to emerge from the program in 1977 was the former president of the Ghana Cycling Federation and lecturer at the University of Guyana, Hector Edwards. He was followed by Leo Romalo, who has since ventured into the sport of rifle shooting. Some of the other notable names whose foundation came as a result of the program were the Fitgau brothers, Noel and Marcus, Byron and Bertram James, Dwayne Roadhog Gibbs, Godfrey Polydor, the late Troy Humphrey, Lyndon Dowridge, Eric Sankar, Warren McKay, Daniel Ramchurji, Shane Budram, Alonzo Graves, Jaron Williams, Robin Posard and Enzo Matthews, among others. And now for some cricket news. The former England and West Indies cricketer Monty Lynch has resigned from the Guyana Cricket Board as its Territorial Development Officer. Lynch, who was appointed to the post on April 18, confirmed on Tuesday that he resigned, divulging little else on the decision to this newscast. He indicated, however, and I quote, "I can't work in that environment," end quote. The Level 3 England-trained coach said he would refrain from making any other public comment on his resignation until the Guyana Cricket Board issues a statement confirming same. This newscast understands that the board will make an official statement shortly. Lynch replaced the former West Indies fast bowler Ryan King, whose tenure was cut short following the installation of the government-established Interim Management Committee in December 2011. Finally, the England's Ashes players have apologized for their inappropriate behavior following reports that some players urinated on the pitch during late-night celebrations following the final Ashes test at the Oval. The test finished as a draw as England completed a 3-0 series win. A statement read, and I quote, "We got carried away amongst the euphoria of winning such a prestigious series and accept some of our behavior was inappropriate. If that has caused any offense to anyone, we apologize," end quote. The allegations arose following eyewitness accounts from Australian journalists who were still in the ground while England celebrated their series victory. The legendary former Australian leg spinner Shane Warne called the actions of the England players crass and arrogant. And with that, we've come to the end of sport. Of course, you can find these stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown and Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned, your Brit reports are next. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Thursday, August 29 at 12 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Thursday, August 29 at 11 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the Evening News for Wednesday, August 28, 2013. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.